Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you photographic evidence of all the gunmen in the JFK assassination. Now, I know that people sit there over the years, they said Oswald was a lone assassin, but then there's people says that Oswald wasn't even a part of the assassination. Uh, Everybody's placing gunmen all over different locations and stuff. But when you're telling us a story and say the gunman was here, the gunman was there, okay, that's all we're getting is a theory because what they have to show to back up, there's nothing to show. That's why when I was asked to do an investigation, I took a different turn and a different twist in doing research because what we could see gives us more information. What we could see gives us some of the answers. So that's what I did. I went ahead and analyzed all the films and images and stuff and started piecing this together and then taking the documents and going over eyewitness accounts and everything else to piece it all together to figure out what took place that day. But people don't understand that when it comes to evidence, before you can make a claim, you better have as much evidence you can and compel a lot of evidence to prove your case. Because when I read people's books or when I watch documentaries or look over movies and they'll say this and they'll say that or this has been said or that's been said, I'm still trying to figure out where's the evidence at. Okay. I'm not seeing this evidence that they're claiming that's in the book. I'm hearing a story that there's a gunman there behind a picket fence, and I'm also hearing myself hearing that an eyewitness said this, an eyewitness said that. Okay, but where's the evidence at? Okay, there's none. There's no evidence. So I'm sitting there, I was like, well, I can't believe this because remember, I wasn't born in, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I wasn't born in 1963. I wasn't even around. I wasn't born until 1967. So I was like, well, first off, let me take a look for myself and see, you know, try to get a full understanding of what really took place that day by watching the films and images. Okay. And one of the first films I did go over was Orville Nick's film. And when I was sitting there looking for that fatal shot or that fatal headshot that they claim was from the grassy knoll area, the picket fence area, I didn't see no shots coming from there. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I started, it took me a map down. I started marking like a map like this, and I started marking locations of who the people we see in the film, their locations and everything else. Then all of a sudden, I seen a shot being fired right behind Mr. Spruder, which is be this one right here. This is a shot right here that I see coming right here from behind Mr. Spruder. And I was like, wait a minute. So I started slowing it down. I started zooming in and everything else. And I seen that shot. And then I started going back because you can already see JFK's head already exploded open. So then I found the second shot that we can see in Orville Nick's film. But anyway, I was just giving you a little bit of insight of what actually took place when I first found these gunmen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you evidence of all 5 gunmen that was there that day and their locations. And I'm also going to show you shots being fired from them locations. Okay, and I'm going to show you the evidence. Now, this is only partial. There's a lot more, which, I won't want the video to be over 2 hours long, but you're going to see all that evidence in this book, evidence of conspiracy. All this evidence plus a lot more is in here to show you each shot that was fired, the evidence that was compelled put in here as well to show you where these shots fired at, to show you that there was shots fired from those locations. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right here with the Mormon photo. The Mormon photo, in fact, does shows us 2 gunmen in shelter number 3. Okay, we have one gunman here looking out the window with his rifle sticking out here. Another gunman coming around the corner with holding his rifle in his hand. I colorize the image so we get more details, so it can bring up more details into this, because when we're looking at black and white, all we're seeing is the black and white, and we just got 2 colors to work with. Now we have more colors to work with, so we can see exactly what's going on there. And as you see here, we can see the gunman's face and head and everything else, and his rifle sticking out, his hands. We can see this gunman coming around the corner here, holding the rifle in his hands, and we can see his shirt, and his hairline receding backwards, and everything else. This is the gunman in shelter number 3. There was 2 gunmen inside shelter number 3. Okay. Now we look at this right here, which is a close-up of the black and white image, which I want to pull up here. See, we can see them gunmen there. We can see the rifle sticking out. See his rifle holding up. And we see this gunman come around the corner. Because a lot of people says, oh, well, that ain't there. But they are there. Okay. Then we're going to go to the colorize again. And we see one gunman here and one gunman here. This is a fact. There was two gunmen inside of shelter number 3 right behind Mr. Pruder because we could see the gunman there. Now, we're looking at the partial front view of the shelter. Now we're going to look at the side view of the shelter. Okay. This is found in Darnell film. I found this in Darnell film, colorized it as well. As you see here, we see two gunmen right here. Two gunmen still inside of shelter number 3, and one gunman still aiming his rifle from his left side. This is a close-up. We see the left side of the gunman here. We see him aiming a rifle here, and we can see that he has his left eye open. Okay, and we see the hairline receding right here. This would be the first gunman. This is the second gunman. Now we're going to go into the Orville Nix film. Okay, now we have the Mormon photo that shows two gunmen inside a shelter holding their rifles. Now we have the Darnell film, which shows side view of the shelter, and one gunman still aiming his rifle. Now here is frame 26 of the Orville Nix film, and we can see a shot being fired from the window right here where that gun was sticking out, as we've seen in the Mormon photo, fired from right here. This is frame 40 of the Orville Nix film, which we can see a close-up of the gunman. We can actually see the top of the gunman's head, and his hairline, and a rifle being fired, and a smoke trail. As you see right here, we can see the top of the gunman's head, right here, his hairline, rifle flash, and a smoke trail from the rifle. This shot was to Governor Conley. Now we're going to go to this one here. This is from the window of the shelter. As you see here, even when we do a close-up, we can actually see the gunman right here. We see there's a rifle right here. He's actually firing from his right. And we see the rifle being fired here and sparks coming from the rifle being fired. This is from the window of the shelter. Okay, now I want to point out this. If we look, we can also ID people as well by doing this. We can see the second gunman that fired the shot from the from the side of the shelter. He was firing from his left, and he was aiming a rifle from his left. That information helped me find that gunman. Now, as you notice in my research, I point out that the two tramps, the tall one and this one here, was the two gunmen inside of shelter number 3. Because we see on the left lapel here. Now remember, left lapel, there is an imprint of a butt plate from a rifle with initials AA on it, as we see here. We see him firing his rifle from his left, aiming his rifle from his left. We see his hairline receding back with a little bit of hair right up here in front. Okay. Same profile, hairline receding back with a little bit of hair up here in front, hairline receding back, and a butt plate from a rifle on his left lapel, and he's aiming and firing a rifle from his left side. So see, this helps us identify the gunman that was in shelter number 3. Okay, so now we know for a fact there was two gunmen in shelter number 3, and we know there was shots fired there. This is the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building. Okay, we can see this gunman coming down in this Pruder film, and we see him taking a shot. So we know there was a shot taken from the rooftop of the county records building because we see the gunman coming down, takes aim, and fire his rifle. We can see this, and we can prove this in this Pruder film. And the shots that occurred that day, he took the manhole cover shots, which you see both of them shots lining back up to rooftop of the county records building. Plus, in 1974, a worker found a bullet casing on the rooftop of the county records building. So there's a lot of evidence compelling. Like I said, you're going to find all this evidence in this book here, evidence of conspiracy. But I'm just showing you the location of each of the gunmen and showing you the shots being fired from that location. Now we're going to see the second floor of the county records building. Okay, because at this point, you think about this. At this point, we know there's two gunmen in shelter number 3 right behind Mr. Zapruder. Now we know there's a gunman on the rooftop of the county records building because we can see them. We can see them taking shots and stuff from these locations. So that's 3 gunmen so far. Now we have gunman number 4. He was on the second floor of the county records building. We can see him holding his rifle right here, which I'll show you, as there's coming down Daly Plaza. As there's coming down Houston Street there. We see the gunman holding his rifle. Now, the reason why I made a video on this, why they didn't see this gunman and stuff, because he was trying to look around this pillar that's sticking right up here beside the window, and that rifle and stuff was actually hidden behind there. Now, we know this is a gunman for a fact, because not only we see him hanging out the window here with a rifle in his hand, but we also know, and by going over the Hughes film, there's a shot fired there. Okay, we can see a shot being fired right out of the window of the second floor of the county records building. And as you see here, we have the Bell film that shows us the gunman with a rifle in his hand. And then we have the Hughes film that shows us a shot being fired from that window of the county records building, second floor county records building. We see that shot being fired. So now we know there's a gunman, and we know there was a shot fired from that location. Now we're going to go, we already looked at it. We got 2 gunmen on a grassy knoll, right in shelter number 3, right behind Mr. Spruder. We have a gunman on the rooftop of the county records building, and we have a gunman on the second floor of the county records building. So now we have 4 gunmen. Now we're going to go into the Texas School Book Depository, and we're going to show you the evidence of that 5th gunman, which is Oswald. Now, a lot of people says, oh, it ain't Oswald. The Dillard image does in fact shows us Oswald peering out of the window, looking out the window of the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, because this is a sniper's nest right here. That's a fact. Now we're going to go over the evidence that was compelled. Now, remember, let me point this up first. We cannot see no shots coming from the 6th floor in any of the films or images. And the reason why is because if we look at the map, when we look here, okay, remember, all the shot zone, or I'm going to call it the danger zone, where JFK was shot and Governor Connally was shot and stuff, would happen in this location here. And everybody had their cameras pointed up this direction. Okay, when the first shot rung out here, and there was still somebody filming right here because they was filming up the follow-up car that was right here. They show this car here, they show this car here, they show this car here, this car here. You know, they're showing these follow-up cars right here. So before Hughes turned their camera around to film down this location, or even stop recording, they caught a glimpse of that gunman taking his shot, okay, which we line up the films and images. But remember, most of the shot zones is down here. This is where most of the shots occurred at right here for JFK and Governor Connally, was in this danger zone here. And everybody having their cameras point and in this direction here, and not up at the buildings, because all the buildings and stuff are behind them. So this is why we can't see a shot coming from that location. But the evidence compels together, when we look at it, does show, in fact, there was shots being fired from that location. Like I said, we have Oswald in the sniper's nest here. We have a palm print that's found on the rifle here. But I call this the decoy rifle. If you watch my other videos and if you read my book, you're going to see a reason why I call this the decoy rifle. But we have Oswald's palm print that's on this rifle here they found by the by the stairwell there. We have a clip that was placed here. We have the rifle here, and this is supposedly the exit. But Oswald's print was found on, a palm print was found on that rifle there. Now we have Oswald's thumbprints on bullet casings. Now, it's not in the reports or nothing. This discovery was made by me and Guy Cooper. Okay, we made this discovery of the thumbprints and fingerprints on the bullet casings. Okay, it's Oswald's right thumbprint. This also points to, this is more evidence to add into that, which they don't know today. If they read my book or they watched my videos, then they would know that Oswald's prints are on this bullet casings. But anyway, now we have Oswald image taken at 6th floor Texas School Book Depository. We have bullet cases with his thumbprint on it. We have a decoy rifle with his palm print on it. But there's actually more evidence to prove that he was in that location. They found a bag that he took in there that day. Right here laying on the side, he's got Oswald's palm print here. We have Oswald's palm print here. We have Oswald's fingerprint here. And then we have the 2 bullet casings with Oswald's thumbprint on it. Okay. So now we're looking at all this evidence compelled here showing that Oswald was in fact in this location at that time. Okay. His fingerprints are on the bullet casings, his fingerprints and stuff. And this is the same bag because it was verified by the guy who took him in to work that morning. You know, that's the bag he brought in that he claimed was shower curtain rods in it. We have a picture of Oswald in this location standing by this window right here. We have his prints all over the place. So Oswald was in fact one of the gunmen. Now, as you see here, here is all the gunmen. There was exactly 5 gunmen there that day. We have 2 gunmen in shelter number 3 right behind Mrs. Sprude of the grassy knoll. We have 1 gunman up on the rooftop of the county records building. We have 1 gunman on the 2nd floor of the county records building. And we have 1 gunman, which is Oswald, on the 6th floor of Texas School Book Depository. Oswald was one of the assassins. Whether people want to believe it or not, the evidence is there, and there's more evidence that I've uncovered about Oswald being one of the assassins. It's all in this book here. Remember, again, researchers aren't going to tell you if they're trying to prove Oswald being innocent and he's a patsy. They're not going to give you this kind of information. I will, but they're not going to give it to you because they want you to believe their story and their theories they're telling, but they're not going to give you the whole truth. And I don't think that's fair for the people in general because the people are looking for the truth. But there's people out there putting them false stories out there to make you believe them. Okay. I don't need nobody. If you don't believe in my research and everything else, that's fine and dandy. But I believe in what I see. I don't believe what I'm told, and I don't believe what I hear. If I can see it, I know it's real. And that's the evidence I compel together so everybody can see firsthand for themselves, like the gunman's location. Okay. I know for a fact today that Oswald was one of the assassins. He took 2 shots that day. I know 2 of the tramps that they picked up that day was the 2 gunmen in shelter number 3. They took 1 shot each. Now, the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building and the gunman on the 2nd floor of the county records building, okay, I would say they was more or less dressed up in policeman uniforms, okay, and that's how they got in and out real quick, especially around the county records building because of the jailhouse there and everything else. I think they was actually dressed up as police officers, and that's why if you watch my one video that I put down there, that I have in one of my videos, I put and show evidence of the 2 cops that picked up the tramps and stuff like that. If you see some of the images and stuff I show in there, you're going to see that I think them are 2 cops that was actually on the rooftop of the county records building and on the 2nd floor of the county records building. But I want to make this video here to show you there was actually 5 gunmen there that day and their locations. The gunmen of all the gunmen and their locations is right here. Okay, this is a fact. There was 2 gunmen in shelter number 3. They took 1 shot each. Oswald on the 6th floor of Texas School Book Depository, he took 2 shots. 1 gunman on the 2nd floor of the county records building, he took 4 shots. And 1 gunman on the rooftop of the county records building, he took 5 shots. Oswald's 2 shots struck JFK. Gunman down here on shelter number 3, 1 shot was to JFK, 1 shot was to Governor Connally. Gunman on the 2nd floor of the county records building, 1 shot was to JFK, 1 shot was to Governor Connally, and 2 distraction shots. The gunman on the rooftop of the county records building was all distraction shots. He's the one that took the shot to the curb where James Tague was standing. It was not Oswald, it was this gunman here. See, this is another thing I want to point out too, that they're trying to say that Oswald took the curb shot, which was a missed shot, when it wasn't him. It was actually the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building because his line of fire lines up with the grass area and the 2 shots to the manhole cover, okay, plus the curb shot. They're all in the same line of fire. So now we know that Oswald didn't take the shot to the curb. It was a gunman on the rooftop of the county records building. He's the one that took that curb shot where James Tague was standing, okay. People who don't understand this is the information we can have. This is the information that we got today now, because now we know exactly what took place that day. We know where each shot came from. We know there was 13 shots. We know there was 5 gunmen there. And I'm going to make another video probably tomorrow or so, where I'm trying to get all the photographic evidence together to show you each shot, photographic evidence of each one of the shots, all 13 shots. I want to make this video here so I can have this evidence out there for the people to view and see there was actually 5 gunmen there and their true locations of these gunmen. But I want to show you photographic evidence into the 13 shots. I want to make this video here to clear up some stuff, and show evidence. Like I said, in my videos, okay, I'm the only JFK researcher out there that's actually making videos and putting my evidence in my videos. Okay, other researchers, only videos you're going to see on them is whether it's from a documentary or from a radio program. You're not going to see any videos of them actually sitting at home, going over their evidence, showing people their evidence, because they're going to want you to buy a book, just like a lot of researchers told me. You're not going to sell no books, Leroy. Now, so why? Because you're showing too much. You're showing too much evidence and stuff like that. If you didn't show the evidence, then if you didn't show none of your evidence, you just told them about your evidence, people will buy your books up like crazy. Like I said, it's not about making the money. It's not about getting that fame and stuff. It's getting the truth out. Okay. Yeah, you got to watch my videos and stuff, which I have my evidence in there, but there's still a lot more evidence, and I go in detail one shot at a time, show that evidence, and then I go to the next shot, show the evidence, show the location and stuff. Then I go into more details and more details and more details in this book. Okay, I can only put so much in a video. Okay, but I just want to make this video here and explain that there was actually 5 gunmen there that day, and their locations are now, we know their locations and everything else. So don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to share this video with others. And, like I said, I'm trying to get a documentary put together. As soon as I get the funds, we're going to get this documentary done. I'm going to find one way or another so we can get this documentary done, because I think it's time for the truth to be told so JFK can be put to rest. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.